Welcome to this island and to this world. Now, in this case, I will try to make this particular island and this little useless town into something a bit more useful. That is, we have some of these mines. We have the coal mine and we have the ore mine. And then we have some manufacturing plants. So we can make something happen here, and then we will distribute the products. Now, it won't be terribly simple, and I haven't exactly planned this well, because we still need the whole timber thing, which needs to be also manufactured somewhere. So we'll plan that a bit later. But first of all, let's take a look at the world itself that we're working with. Not the largest map, perhaps, but there is quite a lot going on, as you have seen already. It's quite built up. Now, this small town is just a little tiny town that hasn't even been connected before a few minutes ago, or rather half an hour ago. It's been running for about that time now. And we have some bigger town here, but mainly the action is happening somewhere in here. We have a big town with the whole infrastructure properly set up, and that's all great and good. We'll probably have another video later looking at how it all works. All these different train systems. Now, this is running at or rather with the no costs mod, and it's not sandbox, so we can't really put any plans or anything like that. No new cities, no new plants, no new mines. That unfortunately cannot be done in this case, but we will try to work with what we've got, and we will try to make that little town useful. But this is basically how it all works. Everything is more or less set up. It all runs on fuel and somewhat on bread. We have some fuel trains coming here. Everything is properly done, so the trains wouldn't have to wait too long. Of course, it has been built up over the years, especially here, so perhaps the train station isn't perfect as it could be, as it has been built up on the original, and I didn't want to just delete and rebuild. It's not realistic that way to me, but it's been made to work as well as possible. So this is just a sort of main city, which I've been trying to connect to this other city. It's quite far away, but it's going to that direction, and I think at some point it will perhaps reach it there. Hopefully it will, because it was a lot smaller and it's been growing, and that one has been growing to the other direction as well. We have some highways, we have some streets, and you may also notice that there is no traffic jam here at all. So let's take a look at the plan itself for the building of that whole arrangement. We have here the closest one, I believe, the sawmill, right? It's the closest one. Now, it's sort of being used, but it doesn't really do much, so we can probably steal some of those resources. The wood itself, it comes from here with a little train, which is, for now, still an old steam train, which obviously will be replaced. Perhaps a second one will be added, or perhaps we'll just build a road and it will be just quicker to do that. But the idea is that we can build a little shipping lane here, from here to go to, I believe it is somewhere like this, somewhere here, and then that will deliver the wood stuff to here, and then everything will come through here. So let's start building now. Let's do the mines. Let's put them to the steel thing, and then we can deal with the wood thing. Will be a lot easier that way. I don't think there's a need for a train here. It would just be quite inefficient. So the better thing to do would probably be to just build some roads. Let's start building. This doesn't have any mods on the roads. Now, if you are playing, I would recommend actually adding some of the mods, especially for the speeds, because you can have those 120 kilometers an hour speeds, which I believe actually helps with traffic, and personally, I believe it's a lot more realistic to do that. Don't add too many mods, because it can get confusing, and some of them don't really look all that great as well. But the speed limit is really a great choice. So let's go with a road. A little road right here. Well, probably not this one. We want something a bit faster like this. Okay. We can connect it and we can right away improve this one. So we can go fast and we don't have to bother with that again. Now, I didn't click it, but what you should usually do when building these mega project roads, set the player ownership to yes. That way, nothing gets changed, which does happen, and it can be quite annoying as well. So we have a little road going from here to there. Basically, everything from here and from this one has to end up here. Now, this is also where we will have our dock, I believe. We will build it here, and then we'll have some trucks going to this factory, as it is called. So let's build that. I want to sort of combine the two. We'll have one port, and we will have one truck port as well. So we'll just use one big one. It will be all nice and great. At least I hope that it will be that. You never know these things, but let's give it a shot. So we have cargo. Okay, cargo. And we want a large one. We'll probably just need one terminal. For now, we can always build some more later. It's not that difficult to do. Let's try and build it as close as possible, because the road has to reach it somehow. Let's see if it works. Okay, let's just see. Yes, it does work, so that's great. It will save us quite a bit of space. And then we can have buildings, truck station, and truck station we can place somewhere in the middle here. Now, if you are planning to build something a bit bigger, you should probably find some enough place to just build as many platforms as possible and expand it as much as possible. We'll only probably do 2 on each side. I think it will be good enough. Like that we can place it. And you want to leave some space behind it like this, because then you can modify it, and then these things get filled up. You can just go in and expand them like that. Well, not like that, like that. You can just expand them like that, so they become bigger, and then you can expand into other sides as well. But just one of these terminals, I believe they're called, platform in this case, you can expand them, and then the goods actually fit, even if you have too many of them. That overflow thing, which sort of damages the whole thing. So we have the truck stop here, the station, and now we can move somewhere further. We need one little pickup station here, so we will just do, I think we will just do 1. Should we do 2? No, just do 1. There's no point in doing 2. It will just very nicely arrive. And as you may know, you can actually do all these one-way directions in and out. I think those are more useful in the city, or if you have lots and lots of trucks coming in, but I think in this case it will be perfectly fine. So it arrives here, it turns left, picks up, and it departs from this side. So there's nothing bad going on in terms of trucks having to stop and let the other trucks through, and a line happening and all that stuff. We don't have that issue here. So let's get another road like this, a beautiful road, a quick road. And actually, we don't really want to go make it go through the city like that. There's no point. We can just build a very nice straight road, say from here, like that, and then just comes in there. Okay. Now it would probably be better to do like a little bridge like this, but we will see later. Those bridges can be difficult to build. I think with the amount of traffic we are expecting, it should be perfectly fine, but you never know. So we will just see later if there is a need to build something like a little bridge thing. We will do that a bit later. Now we need another pickup point here. Maybe I'm making a few mistakes here, but it doesn't matter. We can sort it out later once it's actually up and running. Now then, we have this route, and I don't really want to do a route just yet. As you can see, we have quite a few lines already, so what I want to do to make this easier to manage and also more efficient is do just one line that will probably pick up this, then go here, and then from here it will pick up the steel and put it here. I think that will work quite perfectly. Now, to do that, we can probably just do like a little road. Now, this is quite a good trick actually. You can build a road basically like that. So then you just sort of do it like that, and you won't need to build one of those terminal things. And this allows you to sort of better manage the traffic, that waiting list for all those trucks. So let's just do the unload. We can probably do, well, we can do it here. So it will have probably more than enough space to handle everything here. And now I guess we can actually build a little line. We will need another one just for the other stuff, but that's quite alright, I think. So we go from here. That's our starting point. And then we need to go, where do we need to go? We need to go here. Stop first here, and then get here, and then we can go back. So there is a bit of intersecting going on. That's perfectly fine, I think, with the amount of traffic we are going to have. Again, we will see what goes on when we actually start running all those trucks. But I think it should be perfectly fine. And then from here to here. And that's all good and great. We will distribute the tools a bit later. We'll first start running things and seeing if it actually works, if it will pick up the wood. I believe the main issue here will be picking up the actual wood or whatever it's called. Let's actually see what it's called. I personally usually just look at the pictures and really read this stuff. I've played this game for probably quite a few years. Yeah, it's called a sawmill. What is the resources? Planks. Okay, planks, and that's logs. So from logs you make planks. So that's quite interesting. Let's go on, and I believe we can do the shipping lane now. Which should be relatively simple to do. I just hope we can actually do it at one go here like that. If it doesn't fit, which probably it won't, we can probably do a little canal kind of a thing. And why not, right? If you want to do a canal, you just make it as big as possible. Now, you don't want to do this brush. It's not good. It just makes things messy. You want to do either the square or the round one. I prefer the round one. It feels more realistic. The square one is just sort of a bit too square for me. But it is your choice with your cities and towns and all that. Yeah, that would be perfect. Okay. Let's see if the waters are navigable here. I think it should be fine. Let's just see here. Yeah, it should reach it. It should reach it. Should be perfectly all right. Where's the ships? Cargo harbor. That is what we want. The other way around. Okay, that doesn't really work. We need to make the canal kind of larger, which is perfectly fine, I think. I hope. I think it's realistic enough, and it looks decent as well. We will need to build a bit of a road, I think. Doesn't matter. Just a little addition to go from here to here. And now it works perfectly fine. Let's just get out of that. And yeah, we're all reachable. Probably need to build the ship thing. Okay. And put it there. Now then, let's build another line, the shipping one, with the ships. We'll get probably a couple ships. They are quite slow, unfortunately, so you need to spread them out a bit. I will show you later what you can actually do. Perhaps we won't do it with ships, but we might do it with trucks. You can actually set some of those settings so they just sit in the place until they are full, and that can be quite useful to sort of distribute the ships and the lorries too. There's probably some of those settings set in the city that you saw with those trucks in the queue. But anyways, let's go further. Let's see. We have a line, that's all perfect. And we can actually start running the ships already. The reason we start running the ships already because they take forever, as I mentioned previously. It can be quite annoying. I guess we'll get one of these barges. Which one is the best? This one, I guess, is the best. We have 30 kilometers an hour, a mighty speed. Let's just get probably perhaps 3 because they will pile up in the shores, and then that's another a great thing. Okay. Let's see. 101. Let them go, and we can now see what we can do from here. So we have the steel. It should be running once we start running the trucks. And then they should also be delivering the wood. So they will be delivering the wood and the steel. Okay, that's perfectly fine. I believe we'll need perhaps to start with 7 trucks. Yeah, 7 trucks should be perfect. Now, you might think if you add quite a few of them, if you add many of them, as many as possible, it will be quicker. But in fact, it will not be quicker because they will just create traffic jams with other cars, with themselves, and it will just go to shit quite quickly. So you don't want to have too many of them, but you want to have enough of them so there's a sort of a constant flow of pickups happening. Let's get, which one do we want to get? I want to get these Chinese ones, I guess. They are the fastest. And I believe we can only have this one because we want to, we could have for the wood and the steel, we could have this one, but then we want to pick up a bit more than that. Or we could just have this one. We will have probably these ones for the other stuff. What is it? Iron. Okay, that's iron. Okay, so let's get these ones. Let's just get 7 of them. Let's get them to run. Line 99, if I remember correctly. And as you can see, they are coming out. Beautiful. They're starting their job. That's all great and good. And let's try and run a few of these. So we'll probably just need 5 perhaps of them. Maybe 4 will be enough because those have a lot more work to do, and these will just be doing one thing. It's quite a fast road as well. Let's see, do we have it? Yeah, we do have it. It's line 100. A very boring line gets a very nice number. Well, doesn't matter, right? As long as it works, as long as it's interesting and fun. As you can see, it does the autosave. I personally recommend saving the game as many times as you achieve something good. If you build a very complex intersection, if you perhaps were able to match and catch the details of some bridge, you should just save the game right away, because if it crashes, which it can sort of do, sometimes it can be quite annoying. Now, you may also see the game actually looks quite beautiful here. We have the trucks, the colors are nice, and they have all the details on them. Unfortunately, even with my setup, which is RTX 3080, I will write all of that down, and we'll perhaps do a little benchmarking video later for this particular game. Even with that kind of an equipment, this game is perhaps struggling a bit. I'm not sure how far more you would need to go to play on the higher settings on something even bigger, because this isn't all that big. You can have a lot larger maps and a lot larger cities. So although it is beautiful on these sort of higher settings, most machines won't be able to run this game on the highest settings. Having said that, it's quite enjoyable. I have played on a laptop quite a few times. You need to lower the settings. It doesn't look so good, but it's still quite enjoyable to see what's going on and how it's all running. These buildings wouldn't look so nice, the plants as well. It will all be perhaps a bit more pixelated, but still, the essence of the game would stay the same. Now, as you can see, whilst everything is sort of becoming set up, I can show you this little bus line, which is quite interesting. This particular little town hasn't been connected for many hours of gameplay. It has been only connected for the amount of time that you've seen me build this whole shipping arrangement, and then perhaps 15 minutes before that. But as you can see, this town is getting full of people who want to take a bus. Quite a lot of people. It used to have a small airport, but it never took on that airport. It goes, if I'm not mistaken, it goes to one of the other islands. Yes, it does indeed. And from this island, at least in theory, that was my theory, if you get to this airport, you can take this boat, and I believe you can actually go to sort of a mainland, and then from there you can go anywhere you want to. Actually, you can get straight to the big city, but it seems that no one wants to actually use the airplane, but people do want to use a bus. And this is too full, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to quickly stop the game, and I'll show you perhaps a bit of a trick. Basically, what you want to do if you want to replace the small station with a bigger station, or especially with train stations, that you don't want to mess with changing the lines. Now, this is just one line, so it wouldn't really be that difficult to reset it, and it's only have a few stations, so it doesn't really matter that much. But if you have something more complex, you don't want to reset those stops in the middle of a bunch of stops. It's going to be annoying. So what you want to do is stop the game, then remove the existing station, and if everything goes to plan, we can replace it, and it will all be set up with the same line, the same stop number again. So let's do bus tram station. We don't need it so big. We can just do a smaller one, I think. And yeah, like that. We just have one platform. That's going to be plenty enough. There's only going to be one bus going here. Let's try to remove as few buildings as possible. Oh, 4 it's going to be, I guess. Okay, now it's been replaced, and as you can see, line 98 is in the same place. You can also see these people. These people will now come back to the station, and you will not have lost that many people. We can speed it up a bit, and as you can see, the bus is arriving now. We have a relatively large station. We'll perhaps show you something else about the stations. Now it was actually, just quickly, we have passenger, and you can actually build these things now, and that allows you to fit perhaps hold a few more passengers than it would normally allow for. We can build this large one, and why not, right? That's the only good thing in this small town, so let's build a large one, and now people can aid. And actually, I must say, this looks really nice. This is well designed. I believe it came in that last big update of the game. I'm not really sure, though. So, everything with resources is quite good, I believe. We are getting set up. We leave stuff here. Unfortunately, nothing seems to be built. Why not? Why not? We store everything, and then these are coming from there. I think we just don't have enough time. And this is the thing I was talking about earlier. You always have to leave some space. As you see now, it's all piled up. Now you're going to start losing. It gives you that warning. So what we can actually do here, we can do configure, cargo, and we can just expand it. And actually, we have the same thing with a cargo thing that we can do. Let's try this. I've never actually tried this. I don't believe I have. So it will now be able to fit. Let's see if it actually stops the overflow. Oh, it does. It does stop the overflow. Although, just in case, I will expand it so we don't lose the resources, because I do believe there will be more coming into that. Transport is now transporting. That's all great and good. And we have the wood set up as well. We do need to fix something about the wood, I believe. See these logs? Were they logs? We checked that before. Yes, they are indeed logs. I do remember. But what we need here, we need to replace this old and useless train with something a little bit better. Let's replace it. We're not going to build an electric track. I don't believe it's electric. Is it electric? Well, maybe it is electric. Maybe it's not. It's probably not electric. There's a few bits and pieces of it that are actually electric. Doesn't matter. Let's just replace it with a good old diesel. We have 33 state cars. That's what we want. Let's just go to diesel locomotives. Now, locomotives are a bit tricky. You might want to go with a higher speed, but what you really want to look for is attractive effort. That's what you want when you have these giant trains carrying logs and lots of these state cars, I believe they're called. You want to look at the attractive effort rather than speed, because the reality is that speed will never be reached. If you are going on a very straight line, if you are smaller, then you might want to look at speed as well. So we have this GEC40, which I have no clue what it actually is, but I believe this one might be better. No, actually this one, I think it might be better. Yeah, so this is the one that we want to take. It's 120 kilometers an hour. That's perfectly fine for this arrangement. We will just have probably one in the front and one in the back. That's always useful, and it looks more realistic, I believe, at least. Let's see, cargo, state cars. I think there should be newer ones. Yes, we have newer ones. So we wanted 33, I believe. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Doesn't matter. Let's just add as many as possible. It doesn't actually fill up, I've noticed. So we probably just need to add, maybe add a few and it will go faster. I think that should be the way to go here. Let's make you a few of them. And then I believe it's this one. Yes, it is this one. And the attractive effort is good. Actually, since we have no cost, let's add another train. Like that, and it should make it better. It says good again, but it should be better. Oh, let's replace it with something that actually works. It does actually carry quite well, not that much here. Not that much at all, but this is full. It's also sharing this stuff with some other factory. I don't really remember it that well. It's not a very good line, this one. So hopefully we'll have enough of those logs, which we don't really have. I am disappointed to say that we don't really have enough of them. So what we need to do, we need to find another source of them. I'm just going to turn that off. Let the train run. Let the train run, do its work. Let's just see how the train performs. It does get up to speed quite quickly, although it was already going, so not sure how it will work out later. Let's see, it just comes back. Yeah, I just don't believe we have enough of those logs. Now, again, if it was running in with that, I believe it's called sandbox mode, where you can just build all these factories and log things everywhere you want. I would personally just build them in these woods or near these woods, which would, to me at least, seem realistic, as you have lots of them next to the woods. And that's how you always should create those maps. You have a sandbox mode and you should create maps yourself, not generate them, as I probably did on this occasion. I do have some other maps I will be showing in other videos. Should be quite interesting to see. I have one with lots of Japanese mods, and that one is sort of Japan. The mods, some of them don't really look that good, and yeah, but it is quite interesting. It's built up quite well, lots of traffic problems, and it's on the left side as well, which actually works quite well. So let's find the logs. Let's find a few more logs. Let's see. I just cannot see. Now, I do remember that we actually have a shipping lane here. So we have well, I guess it built this canal because it looks very much like a canal, and they used a square thing to build the canal. In any case, we can probably just ship them through here. I could use trucks. But I don't think it would be that good. No, it would likely be rather slow. We could build a bit more of a highway here, and it would probably go quite fast, but I think ships might actually be better. What do we think? Ships better or not? Well, it's not that far, but the train, I believe, is out of the question here. We just have too much going on here. There's a lot of stopping as it is. Lots of lines intersecting. Let's just see how many lines are going through here. So as you may see, already we have quite a few lines. It's quite a complicated system. These have to go underground, so not to have other trains stop while they sort of get on that train highway. We have a bit of an empty track here, but that, again, doesn't really help. So, it's either the boat, or it is the car, which wouldn't be that bad, I think. We can just drop the logs over here. Yeah, I believe that would be better, and then the train could just pick up the logs and carry them the rest of the distance. So let's build that up. It will be a lot more fun, I believe. Let's just start with that. Let's do a little highway thing. Now, I would want to do this, and again, that's where the speed limit mods come in. You could just have probably one of these that you can go up to 100, and that makes the whole thing a lot more efficient, but unfortunately we don't have that here. So let's just see. Like that. Let's destroy one of the fields. Just very nice and straight. And like that. And then improve it. Yeah, we're just gonna make it work quite well, I think. Let's see, what is this road? Some slow road? What is this? Let's build it up properly. That's good that we can do that. Actually, quite a few cars go here, so it will improve the life of many, I believe. Now then, we need some kind of a drop-off point, and since there are a few cars going here already, I don't want to create a nasty traffic jam. I'm just gonna build something quite small around this place. Just like that. Okay, we can just do it like that, and it will then go back in, and I think it will be perfectly fine. This is just a drop-off point, which I didn't thought through quite that well. Unless it will actually work. Let's see if it will work. If it's because we don't want to drop them to the log thing. We want to drop at the station. And let's see if it's actually close enough. No, is it? Is it not? No, it's not close enough. So what we need to do, we need to expand this a bit. Actually, I have a very interesting idea. Very interesting one. Let's see if we can build under it. Indeed we can. Well, at least I think we can. Let's see if it works like that. Let's just make it a bit bigger. So we're just gonna have a sort of very independent thing going on. It's not really working all that well, if I'm honest. Let's just see if we can do that. Okay. Well, if I'm perfectly honest, it hasn't really worked out well at all, but we can maybe do something to solve it. Can we do it like that? We can probably do it like that. And then just get rid of this and it's all looking good. And as you can see, trains are going through to other parts and places and all of that stuff. And now, hopefully, with a tiny little road through here, we can make it work somehow. Now, with mods, I could have some other arrangements, so there wouldn't be this sort of a silly road here. Let's see if it's actually working. I believe it should work. Well, in any case, we'll find out. We will certainly find out. And let's do the final thing. Let's do it like that and line the one simple single line that will bring logs back and forth. Again, if you had the cost in the game, you wouldn't be able to do some cool stuff like this. It would just be making you bankrupt, and that's that. Now we need a little, I guess we need a depot thing, because we can't just start it like that. We need to build that. We could do it from some other city because everything is pretty much connected here, but it would take forever to find out if the whole thing actually worked. So now we just need let's say 10 of those. I will get back to it later, and we'll probably set it up so it's actually leaving only when it's full. Why are they not going? They should be going. Let's see, 102. Okay. So hopefully that works out. Hopefully. You never know these things. That is... oh, the interesting thing here, it's actually picking up more than logs. It's actually picking up some of steel. It's stealing the steel. Now, you could prevent that, but I don't really care. I'm not really sure. This probably doesn't really work all that well. I just want to make it work really well in this particular island. That's the goal of this whole exercise. Let's see now. Okay, the ship has arrived. And it has brought us some steel. That's not what we want. It's not what we want at all. Well, perhaps we should leave the steel too. Let's just see how it goes. So we have this set up. Yeah, that's all perfectly fine. I don't believe there's any traffic jam going on here. A bit of a traffic jam, but nothing to really worry about. Just want to see if everything is being used properly. And of course it's not. We need to switch one of these around a bit. Let's see, it's probably not going to do us much good. If a second one can be maybe done on one. Oh, let's see. I think it will be better. I think it will be better now. Let's see if it actually works. Oh. Now it's leaving. We won't be able to see if it's blocking the road or not. These stations are a bit tricky. Sometimes you know what you're doing, but then it doesn't work the way you want it, and it gets a bit annoying. But I think this time it worked out quite perfectly, and we are getting the steel. We should also be getting the wood, hopefully sometime soon. Let's just let it run quite quickly. Unfortunately, there's stuff going back and forth now. When there's stuff going back and forth, that's really bad. That's really bad. We don't want that at all. What we want to do, we want to prevent this. This is 2. Okay. And then we want to just allow the loading for... Actually, we don't want to load anything. Don't want to load anything here at all. We just want to unload. Am I wrong? No, I'm not wrong. We just want to unload in this port. Yeah, no loading, just unloading. Why is it still piling up? Should go to that place thing. Okay. So now I think it's going... The steel is going there, but the ships will still need to get there. And let's see now. Let's see. Oh yes, indeed. Indeed it works, and it works quite perfectly. As you can see, our logs are coming in, and our train is... Well, actually, it's the wrong train that's picking it up, but it doesn't matter. And you can probably see this as line 10, so it was built quite early in the game, and I'm not sure why it never worked out quite well. It was probably just forgotten, because there were more interesting projects going on. And let's see now. Let's see how the train is doing. This is quite interesting, this train. Perhaps it was a bit too slow. Perhaps there was a need for one more little train. So, this port is full. It's a bit too full for my liking, actually. But there's nothing really we can do. I don't think it's overflowing yet. But perhaps taking in the steel from this region isn't the best idea. Probably isn't the best idea at all. Now, we will have to realize these gains somehow of, what is it, machines, right? And so, well, this pickup point didn't really make sense, I guess, but what we will need to do now is build... Actually, that's a drop-off point. We are now going to build a little pickup point. Let's do 2 platforms right away, just in case we need them. And we will be dropping them off. You see, these are different tools, I think they're called, not machines. This one, this little town right here, it needs those things. And I believe it's the commercial, industrial it is. So what you want to do with the drop-off points... you want to look at this map and see right here, we want to drop them off here. But also what you want to do is, if you want the city to grow in a specific direction, like say for example, I would want to grow to the right here. I would build up some roads and I would drop off perhaps somewhere like here and then on the new road. So then the city sort of starts growing into that new direction. That's always a good thing. And I believe that's actually what we can do. So let's just, well, we can just build one little thing here. One little station, and then we can just build that. I think we'll have an update video, because it will have to run for a while to see if everything works properly, and we'll have an update video on how it actually worked out, the whole thing. Let's just drop it off there, just so it has something to do for a while, so it can get some stuff going. And where is it? Where is our depot? Yeah, right here. Okay, what do we want? What is good for those tools? I believe for tools it's just, yeah, it's just gonna be this one. Now, if you have a really big city, and we'll perhaps try to go to the really big cities later, you can actually create a sort of distribution point for these trucks. So these big ones go next to the city, and then you get electric ones to distribute throughout the city. Because if you have high emissions, what happens is the city growth, well, it stops or it slows down. It's all in all the statistics. So you need the resources, but also big emissions and traffic jams as well. They cause the city to grow slow, which is something you probably do not want. Let's just do 3, I think. 3 should be enough, and then 103. And I think what we should do right away, we should only let them leave when they are full, because it's quite a big road. They still have to go through the city, which will be quite slow, and then this sort of relatively slow country road. So yeah, we just want to do a little setup with the first one. Let's see. Full load any. We want to full load any, and we also always want to leave a relatively small waiting time. I usually like 140 or 150 seconds. That's the best, because then the traffic sort of flow will continue. It will just not waste resources, but it will continue if there's nothing going on. Because if you stop it, it stops the growth and all that, and it's not really a very good thing at all. So this is what we have right now. We have this setup sort of complete. Everything is running. The things are being delivered. And now we can probably stop this particular video. We'll have an update video later. And as I have mentioned previously, I will have quite a few more maps to show off, and also some other games such as Total War, probably Total War Empire, perhaps Attila, perhaps a few others as well.